Hey fam, and welcome back to Resonate. Let's have a real conversation. Somebody's going through heartbreak, and not just the quote unquote we broke up kind. I'm talking about the kind that messes with your faith. Because this one right here, this breakup, it really hit hard. It hurt because you thought you were doing everything right. You went to counseling, you got serious about God, and you started changing your habit. And now the relationship is over. And you're looking at yourself wondering, was I really changing or was I changing for them? Let's get into it because sometimes we clean up when we're trying to keep someone we love or something we love. We stop going out. We put the bottle down. We delete numbers. We delete pictures, not because we're convicted, but because we're scared to lose that person. That's not healing. That's performing. You ever been there? You weren't praying out of surrender. You were praying to calm your anxiety about whether y'all were going to make. You weren't fasting to hear from God. You were fasting, hoping He fit the relationship. Your Bible was open, but your heart was closed to God, but wide open to a plan that might not have been from Him. And when the person walked away, your spiritual motivation walked out the door with them. Let me ask you something. If God took away the relationship, would your devotion disappear too? Would you still show up to church? Will you still serve? Would you still be praying in the dark when nobody's looking? Because if the only time you're spiritual is when things are going well, you're not spiritual, you're situational. Luke 6:46-49 says, "The one who built their house without a foundation, when the flood came, it collapsed." That's what heartbreak does. It shows what you were standing on. Were you built on a relationship or were you built on a rock? You were celibate until you got ghosted. You were tithing and budgeting until your heart got broken and started stressing and started stress spending at that. You were journaling and reading the word until the person left and you went silent. Listen, pain didn't create your behavior. It revealed what was already sitting in your heart, waiting on a trigger. So hold on. That doesn't mean you're fake. It means you're human. But it's time to go deeper. It's not that God doesn't want you to be married, but He didn't bring you this far to have you emotionally codependent, spiritually weak, and silently broken at the altar. God's not cruel. God's intentional. He wasn't preparing you for the altar just yet. He was preparing you for wholeness. Because if you walk down that aisle into a covenant still with old wounds, you wouldn't have been building a marriage. You would have been building a mess. Some of us modified our behavior, but God is after transformation. Modifying your habits isn't hard. You can cut off friends, delete contact, change how you dress. But if your heart isn't renewed, you'll always go back. Why? Well, let me tell you why. Because external changes don't fix internal voids. That void, only God can fill. If you're back out there doing what you thought you left behind, this isn't the time to hide in shame. It's the time to get honest. God is not surprised by your relapse, but He's waiting for you to surrender. You were doing better. You really were. But now you're slipping, and it hurt. And I know it hurt. You feel like you wasted your time. You feel embarrassed, but don't miss this. The breakup didn't set you back. It exposed where you needed to go deeper. Hey, listen, maybe you're not being punished. Remember, rejection can be protection. Maybe you're being saved. Maybe the relationship ended not because you weren't good enough, but because you were about to forget your identity again. Forget your value again. Forget your God again. You wasn't ready for the altar, not just yet, but you're still on your way. So now let's get whole for real this time. All right, fam, if this has sizzled in your spirit, let me know in the comments. For some reason, I felt like I needed to get this out here as quick as possible. But if you feel like this is for you or someone you know, please like and share it and let me know something in the comments, okay? Thank you, fam. And I'll see you in the next one.